Hey, what is going on, Draw2 crew? Ramny here with a brand new vlog video for you guys, and today I'm going to attempt to talk about drawing styles or just your own artistic style, and I'm going to try to do that by trying to draw this picture of Stan Lee, this one right here. I'm going to try to do it in under 10 minutes, and as I do that, I'm going to also talk about how to find, or how I found, my own drawing style. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this to overhead view, and let's go ahead and get started with the video. All right, 10 minutes, you guys. I've got my timer. I'm going to get started. I didn't intend for this to be a tutorial video, so there's not going to be a tutorial on this. This is me kind of just playing around and trying to find a style. Well, the kind of style that I like to do. And to be honest with you guys, I'm talking as I draw, so this is going to be a little bit like well, it sounds like a tutorial, but it isn't. But to me, an art style is, let's try to define it first. And I have a list here of what constitutes an art style, and you guys already know essentially what that is, right? Like, what is an art style? Essentially, an art style is like an artist's I guess you could say signature, because you try to, well, that's essentially what it is the way to tell an artist from each other, right? So you want to, like, you can tell what a Picasso drawing, what a Picasso painting is. You can tell what Van Gogh's art looks like, you know what I mean? And in the modern world, you can tell, like these cartoon shows, you can tell a Samurai Jack, for example, you can tell Adventure Time, you can tell The Simpsons and South Park. Those are all different kinds of styles. That is essentially like a signature, a way for an artist to express itself, like by you know, putting emphasis on certain things. Like, so for us, a style is more like, for artists, a style is like, you know, whether you want to emphasize the eyes, if you want to make it big, if you want to draw it more anime, if you want to draw it more realistic. Those are different kinds of styles. And for me, I found early on that my style is not drawing realistic. So that's why you don't find a lot of that on my channel, because I honestly, when I try to draw realistic drawings, I get really impatient, and I don't have the patience to do something that you know, that detailed and stuff. So I don't do realistic drawings because that's not my style. I can do it, and I've done it before, but to me, my own style is more like what do you call it? It's more like cartoony, I guess you could say. Like, I mean, this might be a mind-blowing thing for you guys, but the way that I draw in my tutorials, that's just one art style that I have, but it is not the art style that I gravitate towards. And that is the style that everybody expects me to do now, which is fine. It's not like I have anything against it. But to me, like, that isn't really my own art style. Like, my art style is more cartoony, and I'm actually trying to do it right here. This right here would be a more accurate representation of my own art style, you guys, and that's completely fine. So how do you find an art style? How do you define, or how do you figure out you know, your own art style? Like, what do you do? For me, it's essentially copying, and there's nothing against copying. I have nothing against copying, because it does have its uses, you know? So if you are a musician, when you're learning to play music, when you're learning an instrument, you play other people's songs. And that's essentially okay, it's acceptable, it's allowed, right? You play, you know, you learn to play classical music, you learn to play modern music, that kind of thing. That's fine. And that same thing, that same mentality also occurs in the artist's world, where, you know, when you're drawing, when you're learning to draw, you essentially get influenced by the artists that you love. So to me, what I used to do back then was I would find pictures done by my favorite artists. I have a list of my favorite artists, guys. If you go to my website, draw2.com, and head over to the frequently asked questions, or FAQ, I have a bunch of a list of artists there that influenced me in my art style. So that's, anyway, I look at their art and I basically copy what they did. And by copying, you learn a few things. Number one, you learn how to draw the poses, their dynamic poses. You learn to draw, or you learn some patterns in their art style. So for example, I like Jim Lee, and Scott Williams is Jim Lee's inker, back when he did X-Men and, you know, the first couple of Image Comics, Wildcats, all that stuff. So to me, Jim Lee was one of my favorites, and I really like his art. And I remember like looking at the way that he did his cross-hatching. Cross-hatching, you guys know, is like this stuff right here. The way that he used to do that used to fascinate me, and I loved it. So I would look at it, and I would just try to duplicate exactly what he does because I love it so much. And that's how like Jim Lee's art influenced me, and that's how I learned how to draw how to do cross-hatching, is just by looking at his art pieces and looking at how things work and how his body, like the way that he draws the body and stuff. So for me as an artist, I decided that that's cool. That's the kind of art style that I do. So I started doing something similar to Jim Lee. Now, when I say it's okay to copy, that's usually, it comes with a caveat. Yeah, it comes with, like, you have to be aware that you're copying, and you also have to be aware that copying from one person isn't a good thing. It's kind of frowned upon, right? That's plagiarism. So what you want to do, and I have a favorite author, his name is Austin Kleon. I have his other book here. I actually don't have his other book right now, but it's called Steal Like an Artist. And essentially the gist of the book is you copy from different artists and then you put them together to make it your own style. You know what I mean? Because pretty much everything's done. A lot of things have been done already, and it's just a matter of you trying to find different influences to get that art style, to get your own unique art style, right? So for me, Jim Lee is one of those people. Another person who influenced me was Scotty Young. He did a bunch of, he did X-Men Babies. I think he's really known for that. But he's one of the ones that also influences my art style. Humberto Ramos, he's also another one who influences my art style. And I really like the cartoony versions of their drawings, like going away from my Jim Lee tutorial or Jim Lee influence. These guys are more cartoony. And when I started to observe their art styles, I realized that I liked the cartoony style a lot more. So I started doing more cartoony. Now, if you look at this drawing right here, it's not cartoony, it's somewhere in the middle. It's not exactly like real life either. So it's a bunch of these crazy, like it's an amalgamation. It's a mixed, it's put together, it's different influences that have been put together to create a different unique art style. And that's essentially what an art style is. Now, I'm almost reaching the 10-minute mark, you guys. So let me just make this a little bit quick. There you go, let me do this. So essentially, it's up to you to create your own art style by finding how other people do the artwork. Look into, your artists, your favorite artists, and see what their style is like. And be conscious of what it is about their style that you like so much. Like, be aware of it and try to duplicate it, but then afterwards you're going to need to try to create a different version of it. So you're not copying it, you're not plagiarizing it, but you're doing things a little bit more your own style and not just copied from one artist's style. You're getting ideas from different artists all throughout. So this right here, for example, is how I do Jim Lee. That's one art style. Like, I could even make this more cartoony. Maybe I'll do that in some other video. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. But that's essentially it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing. I'm gonna cut back to my video head. I'm gonna cut back to my face now, so let's go ahead and do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing. that was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And so to summarize, you guys, if you want to find an art style, number one, find the artists that influence you. Find the artists whose art you like so much, and be conscious of why you like their art. And I would go as far as to write it down. Why do you like this artist? Write it down. Why do you like, this art? Write that down. And as you do that, and as you do it with different artists, put it all together. All of the reasons why you like those artists, what it is about their art style that you like so much, put it together and try to combine them and try to make it your own. So combining different influences is what makes your own art style. You decide the rules. So coming up with an art style is you deciding on the rules, rules as in how you do your proportions, what kind of themes you like to do in your art, what kind of colors that you gravitate towards, the lines that you like to do, what kind of elements art is in your art, what things you want to emphasize. Like some people want to emphasize the eyes, so they draw their eyes bigger. Some people want to emphasize the details in the muscles, like Jin Lee does, and that's fine too. It's up to you to put all of that together. And that's one way to create your own art style. Or it's one thing, you guys, to follow a tutorial video, but it's another to take that and take it to the next level and develop your own art style with that. And I hope you guys gain a little bit of insight in this. I kind of rambled on because this was a little bit harder than I thought it would be. But I hope you guys got an idea of how to develop your own art style. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this, and how you guys came up with your own art style, or if you guys are going through it, let me know what artists influence you and what it is about their artwork that you like so much. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, and I'll see you next time.